You ever wonder how all this stuff gets built? The apps on your phone, the websites you use. It all seems so impossibly complicated, right? Well, what if I told you it all boils down to one single super powerful idea? And the best part is you already get it. Seriously, even if you've never seen a line of code in your life. Okay, so for a second, let's just forget about code entirely. Let's talk about something way more familiar, like a car. Before anyone even thinks about building a car, what's the very first thing they need? A plan, right? A detailed blueprint. Now, here's the really important part. That blueprint, it isn't the car. It's just the idea, the plan on paper. It's the logical design. It says, hey, a car's going to have properties like wheels and a color, and it's going to have functions, things it can do, like driving and braking. You can't hop in the blueprint and drive to the store, right? It's just the plan. And that is where the magic happens. With that one single blueprint, a factory can churn out thousands, even millions of actual physical cars. Each one is its own unique thing. One could be red, another one blue, one might have a different interior, but they all come from that exact same original plan. They share the same DNA, so to speak. And that's it? Seriously, that's the big idea. This concept of a plan versus the actual thing made from the plan, that is the exact mental model programmers use all day, every day. It's how they tackle ridiculously complex problems and build everything from your favorite game to massive worldwide banking systems. All right, so now that we've got this car analogy down, let's actually connect it to the real words that programmers use. We're going to look at what the blueprint and the car are called in the world of code. So in programming, our blueprint is called a class. Think of it exactly like the car blueprint. A class is just a template. It's a set of instructions that defines what something is supposed to look like and what it's supposed to do. But here's the key. It's just the plan. It's not a real thing yet. It's not taking up any space in the computer's memory. And what about the actual car that gets built from that blueprint? Well, that's called an object. An object is the real deal. It's a concrete thing that's been created from a class. The moment a programmer makes an object, it pops into existence inside the computer's memory, holding its own specific information. Okay, let's put these two side by side to make it super clear. The class, that's your logical blueprint. You only have to define it once, and it doesn't take up any memory. It's just a definition. The object, on the other hand, is the real thing, the instance. You can create as many as you want from that one class, and every single one you create takes up its own little chunk of memory. So, to put it simply, the class is the idea of a car, the object is the actual car sitting in your driveway. Now, I know this might still feel a little abstract, a little programmery, but here's where it gets really cool. You have been using and interacting with classes and objects your entire life, every time you touch a screen or keyboard, and you probably had no idea. And you might be thinking, okay, but so what? I'm not a programmer. Why does this matter to me? It's a totally fair question. The reason it matters is because this concept isn't just in code. It's everywhere. All right, you ready for a little surprise? See that number 1? In pretty much any modern programming language, that's not just a number. It's an object. In fact, almost everything is an object. Numbers, words, that like button you just clicked, they are all objects built from a blueprint. So how is that possible? Well, programming languages come with a bunch of pre-made blueprints already built in. One of the most basic ones is called the integer class, and it's simply the blueprint for all whole numbers. So anytime a programmer just types the number 1, what's happening behind the scenes is the computer is instantly creating a little object from that integer blueprint. And this is what makes it so unbelievably powerful. The only reason a computer knows how to do math, like 1 plus 2, is because the integer blueprint, the class, has a rule built into it, a behavior that says, hey, any object made from me knows how to be added to another integer. The blueprint is what defines what its objects can actually do. So, if the programming languages already have all these built-in blueprints for things like numbers and text, what are programmers even doing all day? Well, a massive part of their job is designing and building their very own custom blueprints for whatever they can imagine. Let's try making one right now. Imagine we design a blueprint for a dog. We'll call it the dog class. In our blueprint, we'll make a rule. Every single dog object that gets created from this plan has to have 3 properties: a name, an age, and a breed. See, we're just defining the structure. But remember, blueprints aren't just about data. They're also about what things can do. So inside our dog class, let's also define a behavior. We'll create a function, programmers usually call these methods, named bark. And just like that, now every single dog object we create will not only have its own name, age, and breed, but it will also automatically know how to bark. Okay, time to put our blueprint to work. Let's create our first dog object. We'll call him Buddy. He's a 4-year-old golden retriever. Now, using that exact same dog blueprint, we'll create a second, totally separate object. This one's Lucy, a 6-year-old poodle. So now we have two completely different dogs, each with its own unique data, but because they were built from the same plan, they both share that same ability to bark. All right, so you get the idea. Blueprints and objects, classes and instances. But why is this such a big deal? Why was this idea so revolutionary that it completely changed how we build software? Well, this entire approach, this way of thinking about code by organizing it around these blueprints and the real-world objects they create, it has a name. It's called object-oriented programming, or just OOP for short. And for decades, it's been the #1 way that most complex software gets built. So why do programmers love thinking this way? It really boils down to a few massive wins. First up is reusability. You write the blueprint once, and you can reuse it 1,000,000 times. It's way more efficient. Then there's simplicity. It's just easier for our brains to think about a user object or a product object instead of a jumbled mess of data flying around. And maybe the biggest one is maintainability. Let's say you want to teach all your dogs a new trick. You don't have to teach each dog individually. You just add the new trick to the one dog blueprint and bam, every single dog object automatically knows how to do it. It's just a smarter, more organized way to build things that can grow and change over time. When you really think about it, this isn't just a programming concept at all. It's a way of looking at the world. A cookie recipe? That's a class. The actual cookies you bake from it? Those are objects. An architect's design for a skyscraper? That's the class. The finished building itself? That's the object. So now that you know how to see the world this way, I'll leave you with a final thought. What other blueprints and objects do you see all around you every day?